Hi everybody, this is Miss Penny again, and this is one of my favorite foods. This recipe is at least 100 years old, if not more. This is my grandmother's recipe, Mabel Parks. She was born in 1901. She was the daughter of a slave, and I grew up with her, and she had a huge peach orchard. So this is a peach cobbler recipe, and it goes at least as far as 1901, but her mother taught it to her, Matilda. So this is my grandmother, Mabel Parks, her peach cobbler, made with fresh peaches. I wish they were out of her garden, but they're frozen, but it's the best we can do. I'll show you now. This peach cobbler, every time I have anyone over, whether it's a cookout, whether it's a holiday, peach cobbler I have to bring. So this is it for everybody who has always wondered how I made my peach cobbler. This is how I did it. All right, let's get started. Okay, I have got about 2 pounds of peaches in here sliced. Or if you get them from the store like I did, it's 2 bags of frozen fresh peaches. To that, I added a half of a tablespoon of nutmeg. To that, I'm going to add my butter, which is a whole stick. And what I'm going to do, we have to cook this for about 10 minutes just to get the crispness of the peaches a little soft. So my grandmother, like I said, she had a huge vegetable garden that was about maybe 1/8 of an acre big. So that was a big garden in Columbus, Ohio. I grew up on this garden. But in their backyard, and this is a cup of peaches, the cup of butter. In her backyard, and we're putting this on top of the peaches, she had a huge peach orchard. She had that peach orchard since my mother was a child and grew up there. And to this we are adding, and this is my grandmother's recipe, so I'm doing it the way she did it. To that stick of butter and 2 pounds of peaches or 2 bags of frozen peaches, we're going to add 1 cup of sugar. To that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of vanilla. My grandmother loved vanilla. And back then, they made their own. They made their own with brandy and vanilla beans, and they just let it set. And the longer it set, the better it was. And also the less of it you had to use. So it was very economical. And it didn't spoil. It lasted forever because of the alcohol. All right, so we're going to put this on to boil. It's going to boil. It's going to simmer. Once it comes to a simmer, it's going to simmer for about 10 minutes. And that's your crust. That's your standard crust. So, this is the bottom crust. And this is how, like I said, I watched my grandmother do this recipe, all my life. All my life. She canned and she froze. I mean, she didn't freeze. She wasn't a freezer. She was a canner. Never really caught the hang of canning. It's on my bucket list to learn. I'll freeze things though. I will definitely freeze things. But the canning, she was so good at it and it was so effortless to her that, I don't know, I just haven't picked it up yet. I may do that. All right, so this is the bottom crust. Sometimes I'll mix it up. Sometimes I'll have peaches and cherry cobbler, or peaches and blackberry cobbler. But because my family was centered around our grandmother and her cobblers, most times, except for blackberries, she loved blackberries, which I do too. So blackberry cobbler was a staple, and peach cobbler was always on the menu. When you see me make my pound cake a few episodes ago, that pound cake went with cold peaches in the summertime for Sunday dessert on the front porch, or in the living room if it was the winter time. But we would have cold sliced peaches that my grandmother had canned and a pound cake, and that was dessert. So we got this done. Now we're going to pour our peaches into our bottom crust. I'll put some holes in the bottom crust just so it doesn't buckle. Okay, and we're going to set it aside because we have to make our top crust now. So we're going to set it aside. So this is it. This is my peach cobbler, and it's going into the stove on 350 for about an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes. And I'll come back with the finished product and we'll taste it. All right. All right, here is the peach cobbler. Right out of the oven. It's piping hot. It's too hot for me to cut in and taste, but I promise you it's excellent. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make this yourself. You're going to love it. It's simple ingredients, but it is delicious. And this segment is dedicated to my grandmother, Mabel Clara Parks, born in 1901 and died in 1974. This is to you, Grandma. Bon appetit.